Hello, welcome back to Reliquia Park. Last episode we kind of experienced a bit of a... Well, we experienced some puzzles indeed, and those puzzles really threw me off. So I will say that's probably because the puzzle itself is kind of... It's not much of a puzzle more than it's just discovering solutions. I think I'm not sure there's any logical way you could figure out those solutions to those puzzles, but if there were, I certainly did not use them. Alright, next up though are shards. So yeah, shards are the ones where you have to create shapes using pieces, such as round shapes, diamond shapes, and square shapes, I think, are the three main kinds. So let me input the secret right now. It's Y triangle. Am I doing this right? Y triangle plus 0 plus. Yep. Plus is 4. 0 plus... There you go. This should be the spire secret. So let's see what kind of puzzles a spire secret could be. So, right, one last endeavor to preserve our history, our mistakes. Is this different for every secret? I don't remember reading this particular statement. One last endeavor to preserve our history, our mistakes. Right, because shards were something about no communication, wasn't it? Wait, no, was it not? Or was it... I don't know. Hold on, let me go back to the spire secret again. And then put that in. 9S9 bolt 0. 9 S9 bolt 0. So if I remember right, spire was crap, I don't remember what the story about spire was. Considering this place was futile, it remains as a warning. Yeah, I really forgot. Alright, what story do I know? I kind of forgot about all the stories. Gosh, I know Glyphs was about having your identity be represented in glyphs and having to follow that. Spy was about orderliness, right? It was about law and everything. No, Spy was about safety. Right, Spy was about having a new safety briefing every week. Or was that totems? No, I'm pretty sure Spires was safety. In which case totem was... I don't know. Hold on, let me just read this first so I can figure this out. Solitary, right. So this is the one where they don't talk to each other. Wait, I mean shards aren't solidarity then. Shards are something else. Shards identity? No, that's glyphs, right? Loyal. Question mark? What? Okay, hold on, let me just very quickly solve these puzzles so I can remember what the story about shards was about. Okay, hold on. This shouldn't take too long, it's like the easiest ones. Speaking of which, I could probably use this opportunity to describe the rule set of shards. Basically, you have to form shapes, which is the main rule, but the secondary rule is that shapes of the same kind can't form 3 in a row. Shapes of 3 different kinds can't form 3 in a row either. Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay, this is gonna be a little bit time consuming, but I think we're fine. Yeah, we should be fine. So what was this about? South City, angle and edge, guidelines. So perfection. Right, there was a story about perfection. Yeah, laws and codes. I remember this. Okay, so it was about laws and codes. Okay. So what is the shard secret line again? Y triangle plus 0 plus. Y triangle plus 0 plus. Okay. What are you saying? Our last endeavor to preserve our history, our mistakes. Alright, I don't think this line has anything to do with the story itself, it's just a line. But okay. So yeah, another warning here. Unfriendly. Unfriendly is right. Gosh. Okay, wow, we're starting off with some insane shapes. Alright, so... Oh, it's not that bad. It's... Okay, everything is grouped accordingly. Here you see 2 different types of shapes. You have rounded shapes and you have diamond shapes. There are no square shapes yet. But okay, so we have to form some sort of contiguous structure here. And if you see in the previous puzzles I did, you can form more than one, which is what intrigues me quite a bit. But okay, so the rule where no three can form a single row is going to come in handy or come into play. I'm not entirely sure how I could start with this besides just playing around. But, okay, so what is this? Is this just its own shape? Can I not just shove this into a corner because this doesn't connect to anything? I guess I can. I'm not sure how this might eventually play into it. Maybe it's just like, make sure you don't, you know... I don't even think this shape that I'm gonna make can even touch all four corners of the board, so pushing this into one corner should be just fine. Maybe it's just there to make the entire puzzle look nicer as like 16 shapes. Okay, what I can see here is that there are branches, so we can consider each shape to be formed of hidden edges or smooth edges and exposed edges here. And so each shape can be classified into having anywhere from 0 to 4 exposed edges. So this shape, for example, has 0 exposed edges. This has 4 exposed edges. This shape here has 2 exposed edges, and this shape has 3. Yeah, these shapes have 1 exposed edge. So yes, and generally a shape should... Well, I'm not sure, but with branches, you're going to always increase the number of edges you have, right? If your shape sort of just branches over and over again, you're going to have an increasing number of shapes of branches. And so even if you touch as many of them together as you possibly could, I don't really think there are that many. There are 4 edges here that haven't been okay. There are 4 edges here that haven't been accounted for. And those 4 could represent the 4 edges that, these touch. But another thing that could happen is that we have this 4 edge piece here. You could form loops with 2 edge pieces. So like, you could form something that might look a bit like this, plus, something that maybe looks like this to form a loop of some kind. This might be considered a loop, which covers up some edges. I'm not entirely sure how I could figure this out. Okay. So, alright, let's try having the edges touch the circle. Because it looks like we have one on each side for here, and so this looks the most logical beginning. You can form a lot of rounds with it, and actually that forms a very nice predictive shape. Except we're missing one, but it's okay because that actually lines up with this shape pretty well. Okay, and I guess now we can form the rest. Yeah, and the rest should be very easy with just ends and connectors. Alright, wait a minute, but the issue is that this is going to form 3 in a row. So this is not the entire solution. Okay. So there's an issue here. Okay. So the round edges have to do something to save this issue. I can see the round edges possibly acting as boundaries, or not boundaries, but like blockages. So you could do something like this to prevent... So this forms a solid shape, but prevents the 3. Although I'm not entirely sure how the rest could fit into a single shape, because now you're lacking a lot of pieces there. You might not have any way to close off the loops. Okay, question. Can these form their own special deal? Well, kind of. I can do this. And... no, because, yeah, how are these gonna be fitted together? No, something else needs to happen here. That's a lot of 3 in a rows. We shouldn't do that. This is kind of maybe working. I'm not entirely sure this is, though. Okay. I get how this might be unfriendly in the fact that there's no real way to like logically solve for such a solution here. What if we, instead of having the 4 sort of go in, we make it, go in like this type of formation, because because that forms a shape like this, right? And actually the rest can actually be covered up with the ends pretty easily, which just leaves the remaining shapes. But those remaining shapes do look pretty tough to match though, so I might be running into another problem here. But this so far gives us a full shape. I could integrate these 4 pieces though, somehow. I'm almost certain I can by just forming some sort of bend. Like for example, I can fit this in here. Right? And I can do a couple rotations. Like this can now go down here. The only issue is that the problem is that, you know, you still form 3 in a row by fitting these in. So these have to somehow connect to the bends instead. Which actually might not be that much of an issue actually. I could do that. 1 here and 1 down there. I'm gonna shift everything up just to make space. And this shouldn't have any 3 in a rows if I, you know, put everything right. There it is. Okay, what a shape. Looks like a frog. A frog consuming this. Sure. This is a very interesting pattern. I don't know if this is the only solution, but this is in fact a solution. Yeah, okay. That's X1. Alright, wildly different puzzle style here, but these are all rounded shapes, so the main goal is to prevent 3 in a row. Okay. So I can notice that these aren't necessarily just capsules. You can actually form like... You can actually... Oh gosh, there's like no space to work with. Also, X's aren't really that important, but just know that you can't place anything on X's. That breaks a rule. You can form sort of like staircases. So your solution can be made of staircases of some kind. And that wouldn't break the rule that much. Although it would, you know, be pretty hard to satisfy considering how little space we have. I could see one way of doing it is maybe like this though. So if I just placed some pieces properly, that is one shape you can make. I could probably do the same thing with these shapes down there. This will definitely form a vertical shape, which I'm not sure if we have space for this. No, it's a horizontal. No, this is a horizontal piece. It's a 2x3 but wide instead of tall, which should not be too tough, and in fact would make a very nice shape that, you know, fits below. Okay, but I do need to just... Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push everything up. I can push that entire stack down if I need to, but this is more of a packing problem at this point, so I need to just stuff everything somewhere so that, you know, I don't... I am still able to retrieve everything once I'm done. I'm gonna require 1 left and 1 right piece here, so... Okay. So I'm gonna do is push this entire thing down, push this over to keep it, and then push everything back up. Alright, so we have 1 left and 1 right now. I'm going to shove these both down here so I can transport these vertical pieces up there, and then repeat. So now I have the ability to form a shape like so. The remaining pieces can form capsules fairly easily. So... Oh, this is... Wait. Oh, it's one... Okay, it can be vertical or horizontal depending on how you arrange it. Oh, I thought it was just... I thought it had to be one of either, but no, it can be both. Something like this. Yeah, okay. And I can do this, I think. Alright, and I believe pushing this down forces this into like the most constrained position. It's just how do I... There are a lot of spaces that are now, you know, uninhabitable by pieces, which is the issue. Like, I guess you could have 1 here and maybe 1 here. Those are 2 verticals though, which requires 2 horizontals as a result. I could try for 2 horizontals, because 2 horizontals might give us a pretty good space to put a circle in here. So let's try that. So I need 1 left and 1 right, and then 2 verticals should actually fit pretty well, I think. Yeah, I could see a solution working out. So let's just fit the puzzles in properly first. Gosh, these pieces are tough to work with, but fine, I think. Yeah, we have a lot of space down here we can just shove things into. Yeah, no, this is fine. This is fine. Okay, how do I can do this, push this down, push this back up. There you go. I can not fit capsules in here. In fact, there's very little space left after this. Could I somehow flip the entire thing so it does the other thing instead, where it's like, instead of an S shape here, it's a Z shape? This is a Z shape. Ah, so by flipping, so like swapping these two pieces, these two shapes, I can form a Z shape here, which allows a circle to be placed here and fit pretty well. So I guess that's all I need to do. I'm gonna put these in reverse order though, because that seems ideal. And I'm going to have to do some very special maneuvering to get everything in place. Okay, so there is your Z piece, albeit a little squashed. We can put the S piece down here similarly. And once we do that, we can just put a circle there. And in fact, we can put a capsule in here, I'm pretty sure, once the S piece is in place. So that is very cool. Okay, so should I just place the capsule right now? I'm not sure if I can fit all of these properly, but let's place a capsule here. We can always move the capsule a little bit in case. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna need to put this piece down here first, and that should fit fairly well. Cool, I'm gonna leave this there so I can push this up later. Otherwise, I can place one of the circles up there already, I think. These need to swap positions as well. So one circle up there, one capsule in the center, and one circle below. So I'm going to swap these positions a little bit. So now I'm going to push this over to make space, push this back, push this up to make space, and push this over, push this back down. Okay, same here, I can do this. I could probably also do this here, but like this. Alright, and this fits. All I need to do is push this up, push this over to make space, push this back down to make space again. Yep, and then repeat, and we should be fine. Okay, this is almost there. I'm gonna push this over here so you can... oof. Do we have space to do this? Can I push this in? Yes, I can push this over to make space and then push it back. There you go. What a packing problem. This wasn't actually about finding a shape more than it is just to put the shapes properly together. You were supposed to find these S and Z pieces though, so I was lucky enough to think of that when I first started. But alright, let us continue. Hello, what are these? Okay, it's mostly contained in the center. Although the center is made complete out of rounded shapes, so that breaks that rule. It's also full of exposed sides here. This is rounded. Okay. So this might be just to find another shape, I think. Can I see? Okay, the center is accessible. Okay, we don't have a four-way piece here, so it can't put anything in the center. Also, we don't have a lot of corner pieces. We only have like 4, I think. Everything else is a branch or a pass-through. A bridge, as I called it. So how am I going to arrange these so that there are only 4 possible looping ends? Those 4 possible looping ends also only are circular pieces, rounded pieces. So I might have to use... Well, I could use one rounded and one non-rounded to form space for that. The inside though is sort of mangled a little bit. So maybe I can place these things here as bridges. Maybe, yeah, okay. The thing is though, how am I going to... Oh, well, no, this is fine, I think. 1, 2, okay, I have 4 bridges, as per expected. I can do something like this. And then the inside can be sort of some vertical bridges instead. So this is one plausible shape that could work out. It just uses a lot of the bridges and only allows for, or it allows for 2 corner pieces but leaves 2 edges exposed as well. This is also not completely symmetrical, so I could replace this with a facing down piece. So now this is symmetrical. But how am I going to have the rest fill themselves up? I'm not sure. This could be pretty forced if I counted the edges properly, but let's say I don't count the edges properly. What would then happen? I'm not sure. Oh, okay, there's something. Gosh, I need to like do this to get everything into place. Alright, so now I have this central thing here. How can I do anything about this? It just feels like whenever I have an exposed piece, it's always a bit too much to deal with. Like currently I have 8 exposed edges, which how am I supposed to fill this? How am I supposed to, you know, cover up 8 exposed edges? It's just the exposed edges have to sort of like cover up themselves up. So can I have that happen? What if I tried something like this, followed by maybe some vertical pieces to cover those up instead? If I just consistently attempt to cover up pieces, exposed edges with more similarly exposed edges, can that eventually work out? Maybe. I mean, we're filling stuff in a pretty good way. The less space you have, the more edges will be already covered up by other edges anyway. And we can always place bridges in there if we need to expand the shape, or if we need to just use them in some way. Okay, now I can probably repeat with these guys. I could probably use bridges because putting rounded pieces there is not going to work out. So like this. Maybe. Okay, I need vertical pieces here, so if I could maybe do something like this instead. The question is, what does this end in? Because the best thing this could end in is probably something like this. But where does that connect to, is the question. I don't get where that might connect to. So this is the wrong piece. I need something that points upwards, like this one. Yeah, I don't see how this could resolve itself. These things are just too far apart. I feel like they gotta loop themselves somehow. You gotta form like several loops here. Yeah, in the end, the best I can still do at the current moment is 4 exposed edges, which is half of what I had at the start, so that's good, but... Whoa, what kind of shape am I making here? Maybe I gotta like rearrange this in some special way. Maybe... like this and like this. Maybe. Okay, this leaves a lot of exposed edges though. I'm not sure how to resolve all of that. Okay, maybe we can start thinking about these rounded edges first instead. Because very likely they're gonna have to touch these guys on the side to, you know, form loops, I think. So suppose I did that. I can put bridges in between to sort of act as fodder. This kind of forms a forced use though of another rounded piece. I'm not sure if that's ideal or not. So another way I can do this is place bridges in the middle. placing bridges in the center gives us a bit more space to work with. And so maybe what I can then do is reuse... No. I was gonna say reuse a piece like in the center here. But as you can see, a piece here would require the same piece as that one, which we don't have. So that is going to have to be an empty space of sorts. Okay. What if I try to use... You know, what if I try to form like a rectangular shape like this? I think we still have too many branching pieces for that. Yeah, we have like 6 branching pieces here. And my question is, can branching pieces ever form their own loops without any other help? And I think the answer is no. Because loops imply that, you know, you need to have sort of this consistent 1 in, 1 out, but branches are, you know, 1 in and 2 out. Or 2 in and 1 out. So it's never going to be consistent. But again, as I said, 1 in and 2 out and 2 in, 1 out seems to balance itself almost perfectly. So maybe given a large enough number of them, you can eventually form some sort of bridge, some sort of loop that kind of branches out on its own. No, I don't think so, because... I'm having some sort of interesting idea though. Because I'm like just drawing out what could happen, and I see something that uses 4 corners and 4 bridges and just a lot of branches. And this appears to form some sort of closed shape. And okay, let me just count how many... Oof, it uses 12 branches for some reason. Do I have 12 branches? Nope, not like that, please. I don't think I have 12, I think I have 8. 8 branches. Yeah, I have 8 branches, so I'm gonna have to... For some reason, my solution here somehow uses more branches than I have, which I didn't even think was possible, but apparently it is. So we can sort of maybe work out a shape instead. So yeah, maybe another idea I could utilize is working out a shape. Also, is this a 7x7? It's a 7x7, what? Okay. So we have 8 connectors instead. Ah, I see. There is an issue with my shape. My initial solution is not actually a loop. There are edges that are sort of not working out together. But I have a shape. Actually, no, I do not, because see, I need to also take inventory of what direction each shape is facing, right? We have some shapes that are facing, and by facing I mean having the exposed edge on the left, right, up, and down. So I need like 2 of each to be used, I think. Yeah. This supposedly forms a very, very symmetrical shape. Actually, it's 1 up and 1 down, so I think I gotta swap these to make it easier to understand that it's 1 of each. And you have the diamond pieces being the left and right facing ones. Okay. And then as for bridges, we have 2 horizontal, 2 vertical, all of which are diamonds. And as for the corner pieces, you have just 1 of each, which is cool, I guess. But how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do anything about this? Like, what kind of shape can I form? Can I form some sort of like swirl, maybe? I can form some kind of swirl, maybe. Yes, I can form a swirl. I see. I have a solution. Alright. It's not really a swirl, but if you think about how all these pieces are sort of rotationally consistent, you can sort of rotate, you know, they would naturally form a rotationally symmetrical piece because, well, you just have an equal number of everything. But I am going to attempt to build one at the moment. We can work out the kinks of 3 in a rows later, but right now I just want to see how I can sort of make this shape come into fruition. So I'm going to need a center that starts with sort of almost a loop. And I expect that loop should be okay if I made it all purely out of circular pieces. So this is your swirl. This is your central swirl. Then I can form an outer ring. And that outer ring is going to go around this. And by going around this, going to form some very interesting looking patterns. So there's your outer ring. I am going to... well, I am going to need some of the insides to be this instead. If the insides were all round, then you're going to have 3 in a rows of some point. Right, alright, got it. So one of these is going to have to be a diamond, the other one is going to be a diamond as well, which allows me to place the rounded shapes outside. So I can do something like this and like this, and there won't be any 3 in a rows. I can similarly do a vertical and an upwards and a downwards one, and there will also be no 3 in a rows. And all the bridges can just fall into place. That's a shape. Alright, cool. I like this one. Well, it's not a... Yeah, this is particularly interesting. The fact that rather than, you know, just randomly piecing things together, I had to draw out what I believe to be a solution first before workshopping that and figuring out if that actually works as a solution. Also important is I took inventory of whatever I had, which makes a lot of sense given how many different pieces you have. Alright, let's move on. Alright, this is very similar to puzzle number 2. But now we have rectangular pieces. Okay, so rectangular pieces can act as barriers between rounded pieces to prevent 3 in a rows from occurring. I need to somehow be able to form... Well, I'm not sure what I need to form, but let's place these circles in the corner first because they basically have nothing to do with the puzzle. There just needs to be enough space for them. I can once again form staircases with the loops formed by these square pieces. But the question is, if I were to form... I can form Z-shapes. And actually by forming Z-shapes, I can do other things as well. Okay, yeah, so similar, I can form 2 Z-shapes, I can form more vertical capsules. I will need to form 4 vertical capsules though. So that might be a challenge. I can form a Z-shape vertically and horizontally, but I am not entirely sure if that will work out. We can try though. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Let's do this, make space. Push these aside, push this up. There's your... And in fact, I can put a circle here, as long as this piece isn't, you know, occupied by a rounded piece. This actually fits very snugly. I can also place a capsule here, which works, surprisingly. I can probably place another capsule in the center as well, because that forms a 2x2, which doesn't have 3 in a row. And then, well, we do still need 2 places for capsules, but I can see where those 2 places might be actually. This is actually not that tough because there could be one capsule up here. That would fit. Another one down there, which would also fit. So the only issue is, do we have enough pieces to fill everything? And I think the answer is yes. Wow, okay. This is cool. Hold on, something's wrong. No, it has to be... No, this is wrong. This is violating the rules a bit. Okay, hold on here. Can I... Oh, we are not able to form two S pieces. That is the issue. Okay, so only one S and one Z piece very likely is the way to go. Also, we don't have enough... Oh, wow. Yeah, we don't have enough columns. Okay. So that might be a problem. However, what I can do is form a vertical piece, which fits pretty well. And that vertical piece will allow me to place another vertical capsule up top, which is quite... I'm gonna say fitting. And I think that's a very apt word because it fits perfectly without any 3 in a rows. Yeah, so this is like a perfect shape almost. Very nice. And then I can just fit other things here without having to worry too much. So as long as I can fit everything else in, I should be fine. I think we are missing something though, because there is one circular piece that I can't fit anywhere without forming 3 in a row of some kind. Everything else should be fine except the fact this thing is on an X. But pushing it anywhere else would form that issue. So is there any way I can resolve this? It's strangely enough, I don't think so. Maybe this is a really close solution, but doesn't quite fit the bill here. My bad. Wrong button. Okay. I mean, this is kind of close. Alright, question. Should I attempt to workshop my own solution off screen first? If I were to place an S shape and a Z shape horizontally, how would that work out? A horizontal Z shape Z shape, huh? Has to be a mirror. Okay. And actually a horizontal Z shape would require 4 vertical capsules, which I'm not sure if that's possible or not. Yeah, I don't think 4 vertical capsules is possible at this point in time. It might have to be 1 vertical and 1 horizontal actually. But I feel like we already tried that. Is this just another S piece? No, it's another Z piece. No, but putting that there would make 3 in a row of square pieces, ironically. And currently, okay. I can place this in a slightly more It's a lot of vertical capsules, honestly. Another thing I could do is simply make 2 vertical, 1 vertical S and 1 vertical Z. But I'm not sure how... That would allow me to have 2 vertical capsules and 2 horizontal capsules each. Which, you know, is the most balanced. And with, you know, a grid that's a bit taller than it is long, that might actually be how I do this. This is 2 S pieces though. I need to draw a solution with an S and a Z piece. So maybe like this. How in the world should I fit stuff here? That looks pretty unsatisfactory. Because how many empty spaces? We have 2 empty spaces, and we need to use those 2 empty spaces very, very frugally. If we can't, then it doesn't really matter what we do. This already fails. And I was supposed sort of doing something like this. So you'd have to do that. I mean, this. Then you'd have another empty. Okay. Maybe not. What I can do though is I'm gonna try putting this on screen instead so it's a bit easier to see. I'm gonna try having maybe a vertical piece that does this. So like this and like this. I guess what might be, you know, a good way to think about things is to have the square pieces in the center, because then you can put rounded pieces on both sides and it wouldn't, you know, break the rules at all. But this is one interesting way I can fit pieces in, is a first thing you can think of, I guess. But alright, so a symmetrical solution would place, well, a symmetrical solution would cause another S piece, which isn't plausible. So I need to form I'll put a Z piece somewhere. Okay. This already leads to a lot of empty spots. Like if I was just to do this, you'd have an empty spot, you know, here. You have to have an empty spot in one of these cells, an empty spot in one of these cells. So that would leave a lot of empty spots, which is not good. Same for something like this. This could leave one empty spot if both of these were something. But then they'll have to both be singular pieces, and that leaves this as an empty spot. And that leaves a lot of extra space. So with only 2 empty spots, we have to find some way to use these 6 non-rounded pieces to split these up in some way. Is what I'm thinking. And what would be the most ideal way to do this with a 4x5 grid? Where can I put 6 pieces? Or where can I fill 6 cells so that you cannot form any more 3 in a rows? Okay, well, I would like to note that ideally the 4 middle cells are empty. Well, that's not true, because okay, you need 6 cells. You have 6 non-circular cells here, which have to split the grid up so that you can't form 3 in a rows in any of the remaining cells, right? Every row has 4 cells here, so you need at least 1 cell per row to prevent this from happening. Okay, that makes 5 non-circular cells already. A 6th cell probably to either bridge gaps or I'm not sure. Okay, but also note that I think I see it. It has to be the 2 cells on the sides, on the middle of the left and right column, plus 1 cell for each of the remaining rows. Might be the only way to do this. And those have to form a symmetrical-ish pattern. So the 6 cells that need to exist as non-rounded pieces are this cell, this cell that I'm on, then the 2 cells diagonally to the top right of it, as well as this cell that I'm on, plus the 2 cells diagonally to the top of it. Or the 180-degree rotation of this. I mean, or the, any reflection of this or rotation of this would produce a... Yeah. Okay, so now that we know that, we can then state, not state, but we can then sort of deduce that these 3 cells must have rounded pieces in them, and the only way to compose them of only rounded pieces is... Well, I'm not sure, but... Okay, there are a few ways to do this, because this cell here is a non-rounded piece. It could act as a corner staircase piece, a corner rectangular piece to bridge the cell that I'm on and the cell diagonally above me. And then we have a circle in here. That is one way to do it. Or you could just have a circle and a capsule, and then an empty cell here. There are a few ways to do it. I'm going to try and workshop a solution to see if I can get this to work out. I think I have something. Do I? Yeah, I have a lot of vertical capsules. I think this might work. Alright, I think I found a solution. So let's see if I can input that solution. I'm sorry there wasn't like a lot more puzzle solving in this episode in particular. It's just a lot of me just rambling what I'm doing. But hopefully that isn't too much of a problem. Okay, so I'm going to place a rectangle piece there. Okay, this is also going to be quite of a movement problem, but we already experienced that like 2 puzzles ago, so it's alright. So that's 1. And then we will need a capsule beside it. Okay, I'm going to actually do this like this, and that should be 1 corner complete. Yeah, alright, circle can go back. Next one would be probably the thing right beside it, which would be this piece over here. Which is here. And 1 piece here. Another one down there. Whoa. Okay, no, hold on. This one just solves it. Hold on. This one can just go there. And you can sort of see the kind of thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to form a 4-way rotationally symmetrical solution. I'm gonna push everything down here because I don't think... Yeah, alright. And this solution goes here. Alright, it's a lot of finagling. Hold on, no, this actually goes down here. Right. And then this one goes there. So it's not really Z pieces and such, it's just a bunch of L's. Alright, and this should be it. 1 here. And then up here. Okay. And that should be it, right? Hopefully this doesn't... Yep, there it is. That's your solution. Okay, so I guess we have to think about how it was you can pack, pieces without forming 3 in a row here. And there's a pretty easy solution for a regular tic-tac-toe board. But for larger grids like this, you might have to do this, manually. Which is what I did. So I found a solution. Alright, last one. Oh, jeez. Okay, no, those bricks are just regular bricks. Those bricks are just the hourglass shaped pieces from the other. Yeah, it's just a rectangular version of the hourglass shaped pieces. Okay, so is this might be just finding a shape. I don't think this is much of a yeah, this shouldn't be too much of a, what is that? Oh, that is a corner piece. Yeah, this shouldn't be too much of a arrange this in the only way without forming 3 in a row. But I guess similar to puzzle number 3, I'm gonna have to take stock of pieces that I have. I have a bunch of vertical and horizontal bridges that are all rectangular in some way. I also have a bunch of rectangular corners and a bunch of rectangular yeah, no, a bunch of rectangular corners and a bunch of circular corners or rounded corners. I also have a bunch of, no, I have a singular donut. Okay, so let's continue taking stock here. I'm just gonna push everything properly first so that, oh, we have branches. Wait, do we have branches? Why do I only have one branch? What? Where is the other branch? Oh, there's one over there. But this looks like it might be a diagonally symmetrical puzzle since these branches are not symmetrical but are diagonally symmetrical. They're not symmetrical per se, they're just, you know, symmetrical in a different way. Alright, let's quickly just order these pieces properly. I could sort by type, I could sort by shape. We should be fine here though. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, these 2 rectangular pieces are all just top left corners, which is interesting to me. I'm not sure how that might do anything for our puzzle. I mean, we do have a lot of every other shape, I guess, so I suppose it is logical for... Yeah. Look, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling at this point. Also, is there lag or is the movement speed just really slow? I am not sure. Hold on, let's keep doing this. Yeah, we have 4 of every corner, I think. 4 of every corner is... It looks right. But some corners are rectangular, presumably to prevent 3 in a rows. Interestingly enough, none of these puzzles here feature 3 in a row of different kinds. They all just feature 2 different types of pieces. And I would say the main reason for that is because... Wait a minute. Are we missing one here? Oh, we are missing one. Whoa. We're missing one, and that one is probably replaced by a donut. Alright, so these are our pieces. How shall I workshop them into a solution? We have a lot of corners, which is interesting. And a lot of corners would naturally mean a lot of loops. Hold on, let me turn on the lights so I can see better. I'm recording this over a period of sunset, so my room just gradually got really dark. But now the lights are on, so I can draw. Alright, so... It looks like with 4 corner pieces you can... Well, you have 3 corner pieces of each shape, plus 1 missing bottom right piece. So that's said, you can probably make 3 circles pretty easily. But is that good, or is that wasting pieces? Let's say I have 3 circles. What do I have left? I have a lot of bridges. I have 1 of each corner. I have branches, which might be not so good. I can use the bridges within those circles to form sort of elongated circles. So there shouldn't be too much of an issue. So suppose I do that. Suppose I use the bridges on, say, one of the shapes. So now I'm using... Okay, that feels possibly right. I'm left with 1 of every corner except for bottom right, a donut, some branches, Two branches, in fact. Alright, maybe the donut and the branches connect. I'd say that probably makes the most sense. Okay, problem is that if I were to do that, there are a few ways I could do this, I think. Or is there? Unfortunately, if I were to connect the branches to the donut in the center, the best way to do that would be to close off a loop with a bottom right corner, which already spans one. I guess I can use the remaining to form that? Ah, I see something. Yes, alright, I see the shape. Alright, I see the shape. Because I just guessed and it worked out very well. So, lucky me, I suppose. In fact, I'll just draw out the shape so it's easier for me to refer back when I need to. And hopefully there aren't any unfortunate 3x3s on this one. I don't think there would be. Yeah, I don't think there would be. Okay, let's start forming the shape. I will start with the donut since that is a confirmed piece. Same for the branches. The branches are the only ones that exist. So I was saying that if this had to happen, you'd have to use the bottom right piece, which, you know, drains the resources that is the least numerous, but is not necessarily a fail condition. In this case, it actually gives us one of the solutions. Then... oh, hold on, we might be missing pieces actually. We are missing pieces, but we are missing precisely 2 squares of pieces, I think. Yes, I'm missing 2 squares of pieces, so we can just form 2 squares after that. Alright, ideal. Let's just start forming the shape immediately. So yes, we should be fine here. Yeah, okay, no. I scared myself thinking that the solution I was doing was wrong, but no. This is right so far. Even though it doesn't look very right, it is in fact correct. And I can continue this. This one has to go on top. And be bridged over to this corner piece. And then bridge down like so. There's one. And then we can do the same down here. And I am not really worrying so much about the... I'm not really worrying so much about the pieces that we use here. I'm almost certain that this wouldn't break any rules. I just have to make sure that this corner piece here was not a square, because we are having some square bridges in the way already. But we should otherwise be fine. Alright, so there is one shape, which is entirely concealed. The issue might actually be where to place this shape, because we do still have to form 2 squares. 2 circles. And those 2 circles might actually be compromised. Actually, that's not true. I think I can, you know, form one right here. Can form one right here, and it wouldn't break anything. So yes, that works. And then one more. Alright, it's just easier to spam the movement keys. Alright, and then I can just form another circle just in the corner where it doesn't touch anything, so it wouldn't have any risk of producing 2 in a row. 3 in a row. And this should be it. Whoa. No, wait, what? Where are my 3 in a rows? What are 2? Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm bridging this the wrong way. Hold on. Also, yeah, there's a second rule broken, which means that there is a 3 in a row somewhere that I'm missing. Okay, hold on here. I am bridging this the wrong way because I'm using an empty space as the bridges. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be using these like solid exposed surfaces as bridges, which I'm not doing. Alright, so let's mess up the entire structure so we can access these properly and then put them back together again. Okay. So this is how what a bridge should look like, which is very misleading, but it's okay. And then the central... Oh, I see the central issue. The central issue is we do have a 3 in a row vertically here, so that might break my solution a bit. In fact, this entirely breaks my solution because there are no replacement pieces in there. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else here. This doesn't actually work. Okay, I can see why we might have some rectangular things though. Okay. Why doesn't this work? I am not sure why it doesn't work. Let me see if I can workshop a new shape that utilizes the rectangular stairs. And that new shape shouldn't be too tough to... Ah, I see. Because we inadvertently form another 3 in a row of some kind here. That is unless we use bridges. Okay, so... Let's see if I can... I can probably extend the shape in some way. Yeah, and actually we have enough pieces for that, so... Let's try this. We can use bridges to break the 3 in a row. I can do the same here. And I can basically just parallelize, parallel-ish, whatever I'm saying. Okay, hold on. So this is one. This is another. We can form an up here. And now that we have bridges like so, in fact this bridge probably has to go inside instead. I don't know why I made it like a long bridge. This doesn't necessarily has to be a vertical piece anymore. And because it doesn't have to be, I'm going to keep it in case somehow something breaks. So I can form this shape like so. The question is, does everything else fit? I think something should be able to work here. Just because these corner pieces are super versatile. So now that we're done with that shape, I'm going to push it into the corner, which breaks rules, but gives us space. So we can push it back later, it's fine. Now I want to take inventory of whatever I have left. And I think it shouldn't be that tough. We should have like 3 of one piece and 2 of the other. And then we can form staircases. Actually, no, we have to form loops of some kind. This might actually turn out to be another problem. Uh-oh. Because we have like... Yeah, right? Yeah, we are missing stuff. Which is an issue. How shall I form any reasonable shape with this? Can I do something like this to form maybe a special kind of loop? Okay, I mixed up the pieces again, but you get the idea. Like a interesting looking loop. So 1 down, 1 across, and then 1 down again. Yeah, that leaves enough pieces for a final shape. Okay. That works out pretty well. Pretty fortunately, in fact. Gosh. Please control yourself. Okay, we should be fine here. The last thing I should be worried about is whether... There are no 3 in a row here, which is very cool. I like that. And just another circle should be fine. Okay, question is, can I fit this anywhere? Yes, I should be able to I should have just fit it here, I think. Actually no, this doesn't... Oof. These pieces themselves are not the best. Because I can shift everything up and shift everything over. Does that break anything? It doesn't break anything at the moment. Where can I fit my last circle so it doesn't break anything? The answer is I'm not sure where I can do that. Maybe that's why this has to be like a rectangle? Or this has to be a rectangle? Yeah, if this was a rectangle, I think... No. If this was a rectangle, we should be fine. Yeah, there's a lot more circles on this side, so I don't want to touch that. So put a rectangle here, and a final circle should be makeable. Ooh, should it be makeable? I don't think so. I can shift this entire thing over though. That actually works very well because this rectangular piece. Alright, and there is still no space for a final circle somehow, which is fairly infuriating. It's not even about how shapes can be made at this point. Maybe more needs to happen. But yeah, if I put this here, you get 3 in a row there. If I push that up, you'll get more 3 in a rows. Okay, maybe these have to be positioned differently. If I push this entire thing down, what happens? That does violate 3 in a row. What if I push this over and then down? That would be very similar to... Well, it would be very similar, but not an unsolvable thing, right? If I pushed everything down, you form 3 in a row, unless this piece here was replaced with a... Alright, please move away. Replaced with a staircase. Yeah. Okay. Let's move all of these out of the way first. Gotta walk over. Goodness. Okay, now I can push this in. And then push this thing down. So now what can happen is... Well, this entire thing can exist down here, but I still feel like we are missing something because I still think you can't actually form a shape without 3 in a row here. Yeah, you can't form this sort of shape here, so we are absolutely missing something. What we are not missing though is if this was also... Okay, yeah, I don't know why I put a square piece there. I think I was just scared that you might accidentally form a 3 in a row, but I don't think you actually do form a 3 in a row. There, so let's do that. 3 in a row, avoid it like this. And you can form a very simple... Okay, hold on. Yeah, you can form a very simple circle after this, I think. Can you? Oh my gosh, can you still not? Can I push this somewhere? I think so. I can push this over here, and I think there should be... Yep, a very nice little pocket down there that just barely works because of the staircase. Oh, that was tough. That was tough, yeah. We met like 3 separate problems in this puzzle, and each problem required special thinking to sort of, you know, special tweaking in particular to sort of resolve. But there you go. That's your Shard 5 puzzles all done. And that leaves this. Very nice. Okay, so O1 and 1S. Alright, Shard secret is O1 and 1S, if I'm not wrong. O1 and 1S, yes, okay. There you go, and let's return to the hub. So we're gonna O1 and 1S. Yep, alright. Secret fragments. Next episode, we're gonna move on. And by moving on, I mean we're gonna be moving on to glyphs, which hopefully shouldn't be that much of an issue. Glyphs are just about finding solutions instead of workshopping some, so it's probably going to be a lot of trial and error in the episode, but hopefully nothing as challenging as Spires. Yeah, Spires took me a while. This one was not that tough, but did present some challenges toward the end that had to be logicked out. I had fun though. This one was particularly fine for me to solve. Yeah, so I had fun. Hope you enjoyed this video as well. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!